Yellowstone National Park's Biscuit Basin will be closed for the remainder of the 2024 season due to safety concerns after a hydrothermal eruption Tuesday sent a 3-foot-wide chunk of rock hundreds of feet into the air, damaging a boardwalk and reshaping a nearby hot pool, the park said Wednesday evening. Yellowstone National Park and the U.S. Geological Survey's Yellowstone Volcano Observatory released a preliminary assessment Wednesday afternoon of Tuesday's blast, confirming no volcanic or seismic activity was responsible. The blast, which sent steam and debris hundreds of feet above the ground, destroyed a boardwalk at the campground and threw grapefruit-sized chunks of rock hundreds of feet from its source, wrote Michael Poland, the observatory's chief scientist. Some of the blocks closest to the blast site were about 3 feet, 1 meter, wide and weighed hundreds of pounds. Although chunks of rock fell in the area and close to visitors who were on the boardwalk when the blast occurred, the park said no injuries were reported. The Volcano Observatory said the largest plumes of debris were mostly directed toward the Firehole River. In the days after the eruption, Black Diamond Pool and Black Opal Pool remained murky as mud and debris erupted from the ground along with steam and boiling water. The exposure made the edges of both pools unstable, and the observatory said the shape of Black Diamond has changed slightly. In the hours after the eruption, Black Diamond Pool showed several plumes of air as high as 8 feet in the air, and on Wednesday morning, both pools overflowed, sending murky water into the Firehole River. Poland said small plumes of boiling water are likely to occur in Biscuit Bay in the coming months, and that geologists from the U.S. Geological Survey and the National Park Service will be mapping changes in the basin, mapping debris and taking air samples to see if there have been changes to the basin's hydrothermal system. The park said there was an explosion similar in size to the one Tuesday in the 1880s at Excelsior Geyser, and smaller explosions have been recorded at Biscuit Basin in 2009, Porcelain Terrace last April, and Porkchop Geyser in 1989. The park said there is typically one or more hydrothermal explosions at Yellowstone each year, but they usually occur inland. While Biscuit Basin will remain closed through the end of the season, the Grand Loop Road remains open, as do other nearby basins. But don't worry, this is a normal and common occurrence at Yellowstone, happening once or more each year. U.S. Geological Survey officials told Nexstar that hydrothermal explosions like this week's are not a sign of an impending volcanic eruption. However, the explosions have sparked online conversation about what might happen if this is a sign of a Big Bang, and what would happen if the Yellowstone volcanic system were to erupt. The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory says a major eruption at Yellowstone would not be the end of humanity, but it would have global implications, affecting the entire state of Colorado. USGS scientists Larry Mastin and Jacob Lowenstern and National Science Foundation researcher Alexa Van Eaton published their research about 10 years ago about where volcanic ash would fall if a major eruption happened today. To understand what's happening now, the scientists modeled where ash would be found from previous major eruptions at Yellowstone, the last of which occurred 640,000 years ago.